live from New York. It's Saturday night. Well, that's the purpose of this review. Welcome back to another movie review. We're going to be reviewing a SNL biopic. Because it's a biopic that I wanted to get the chance to watch. Because this movie came out on the day that it was the 49th anniversary of SNL. 2025 is going to mark SNL's 50th anniversary. So, let's get started with this review. So SNL is basically a biopic. So when it comes to SNL has a group of comedians and writers that had changed the television forever. Now, in this one, it's based on a true story of what happened behind the scenes, what happened to 90 minutes before the first broadcast of SNL. The humor, the chaos, and magic of a revolution that wasn't. Countdown to real time to the famous live. We get to hear these famous words that got the show rolling. Live from New York is Saturday night. So basically, why hadn't Universal get to distribute this movie? Because NBC is the responsible for making this live. Anyways, I just wanted to get to the Lego lore. I just want to say that I have it's pretty funny. Anyways, this was an entertaining biopic. This is where SNL began. Now, but my mother has watched SNL before, but she stopped watching it altogether, and I personally have not been seeing SNL, but I really do want to get to start watching SNL to see how the first season started. But yeah, I haven't got to see the SNL's entirety, but I've seen some videos from Watch Mojo that's focused on SNL. But hopefully, I'll get to see SNL starting with the very first season, because that's where it began with the show. This topic was pretty entertaining because you got the cast. This is with Jason Reitman, directed by Jason Reitman. He and Gail Keenan were involved with Ghostbusters Afterlife. But between this and that, I think that Saturday Night had a better reception compared to Ghost Life or Afterlife. Or Frozen Empire, I meant to say. Because this movie focuses on how SNL began. So, SNL perfectly it captures the energy of the backstage. Nice cast, and a recreation of how SNL started, basically. Yeah, this movie did do the first season justice. Pretty entertaining because we have let's take a look at who started it. Gabrielle Bell played Lorne Michaels, who was Canadian. I thought he was pretty good. It's trying to get SNL somewhere with this, and he had Richardson playing was Steve Shusher. We have Corey Knocker Smith, who played the diva, Chevy Smith. Chase. I thought Chevy Chase was a bit of a diva because he was banned from hosting duties. He was hard to get along with, and we had Helen Huff, who played Kendall Lackner. That's pretty good. And we also had Dylan O'Brien played Dan Aykroyd. Carson Long Morris played Gareth Morris. Kimberly Maturo played Jane Curtin, and then we have Finn Wolfhard, who recently directed that one movie. Pretty young for a director who was in his 20s, but not important, but it's CP. And then we had Nicholas Braun who played Jim Henson, and then we have Dick Ebersol, who eventually was a friend of O.J. Simpson, but enough about him. Andrew Feldman played Nib Levy. Then we have other people. We have George Carlin, that was my bias, and then we have J.K. Simmons playing Mitch and Burry. People behind us now in those early days hated Mitch and Burry. We had Billy Preston. Because we also had other people who had worked on, including Gil Keenan, like I said, who was involved with Frozen Empire, and who was also the director of the film. Yeah, it's nice to see the cast trying to take this movie somewhere with try to recreate the magic that SNL tried to have. Because sometimes I wonder what happened behind the scenes with the SNL, because SNL has banned a lot of people, like Steven Seagal, who's currently banned, Martin Lawrence, who had his ban lifted. We also had Kenan Thompson, Kevin Mitchell, Pete Davidson, Tina Fey, and Newport. Those people would appear over the years on SNL. But to focus on how the show began, Saturday Night is convincing me to start watching SNL. And I also heard that SNL is considering doing a British spin-off. Basically, SNL is starting to start its own British roots. But like I said, Saturday Night Live is a American black comedy show. And the fact that it wants to start its British roots somewhere, the show's always going to be American, but yeah, SNL had its fair share of controversies over the years, including that ISIS skit that was questionable, to say the least. And, because that show is always going to be controversial. The show's going to be controversial no matter how many skits. That Tiger Woods one, was criticized because it was suggesting that domestic violence was funny, which is domestic violence isn't funny. Yet some skits were removed, re-edit. Because you can't get away with some skits now, but because some people, like C.K. Louis was also there. He had a controversial monologue, but yeah, what happened to the show over the years? Like I said, I want to start watching the early years of SNL, start with the 70s, because by the time October 11 gets here in 2025, Saturday Night Live will be entering its 50th anniversary. Yes, SNL has been on the air since 1975. It's one of the longest comedy shows. It's one of the longest shows that's currently aired as of today, because NCIS is currently going, Grey's Anatomy, but those are not comedies, those are dramas. NCIS is a crime show, and then drama. SNL. We also have The Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, and Jeopardy is still on the air. Except those are not comedy shows, those are game shows. But SNL's been going on longer than The Price is Right. SNL started in 1975, and The Price is Right. Let's see. Actually, SNL started 3 years after The Price is Right, but Price is Right is the longest game show that is currently airing today, and then Saturday Night Live is the longest live comedy show. It's only a matter of time if Saturday Night Live will recapture the magic that it started after all these years, but then again, Saturday Night is pretty entertaining with memorable cast recreating the beginning of how it left off. And we had plenty of people that were hated. Well, we had the different people that Betty White, Alec Baldwin, Steve Martin, Joe Pesci from the Who Here and How Long. Those guys hosts. Some of them considered to be the best hosts of SNL. There's others that are going to be worse. This biopic will set a reminder of how SNL's days, but may require audience. Pretty entertaining to American TV. Talking about going behind the scenes of the comedy show. I'm glad to enjoy Saturday night because it takes me back to the 70s. I like seeing the nostalgic vibes that SNL would provide these early days. That's history making. The 1970s setting seems to be pretty promising for a movie like this. I liked that when movies take you back to nostalgic, back to those days, recreating the 20th century settings. Definitely one of those times. And I like that Saturday Night gives a loving tribute to the cast and especially the not ready for primetime players. SNL has become an iconic show, despite the creator of the show being Canadian, plus the controversial skits that Hollywood the show has seen over the years. I like the performances; they were very inspiring, and wants me to watch the early days of SNL. The show is movie is fun to look at. I've seen it a couple of times, and I also was at AMC when viewing this movie. But hopefully, you'll see what the filmmakers will do next. See how. It's just the movie plays like a good episode of SNL. A lot of bits, laughs, weekend updates. A lot of stuff that SNL does nowadays. But recreating the magic from the before gives me a lot of positive feelings about the early years, and hopefully. I don't know why the heck I was playing, but someday I'll get to watch the very beginning of how SNL started. Recreating the early days of SNL. strong performances. That's showbiz for you. It's just quite an entertaining biopic about how SNL started off. You ask the audience to watch everything that goes wrong. Pretty good for a biopic. It's don't know much about SNL's history, however, so to understand where SNL got to as of now, I'm gonna start watching from the beginning. I'm gonna start the first season, and hopefully, by the time I watch every single season of SNL, I'll have all the acknowledgement for the show and understand how we got here. I'm pretty sure that when it comes to Saturday Night Live, to understand what happened behind the scenes, despite the controversy and scandals that SNL has garnered over the years, I'm pretty sure that we could learn from the questionable moments, and hopefully SNL tries to avoid anything that's controversial and try to avoid garnering serious controversies ever again. Sometimes I don't know why they have had fair share moments to piss people off, maybe make people mad. Hopefully SNL does recreate the moments that they had from before. Hopefully SNL continues on a very positive fact. It's been going on since 1975, and this year will mark the 50th anniversary of when SNL came out. Saturday Night was released worldwide on October 11th, 2024, in honor of the 49th anniversary of the show. Jeez, it's how long is this going? 17 minutes, not too bad. I mean, I've been making quite over 10-minute reviews of SNL. I mean, reviews, but that's okay. But anyways, I'm gonna give Saturday Night 4 out of 5. Because when it comes to biopics, they try to recreate the moments of what happened in real life. And SNL is still going on to this day. Like I said, it's one of the longest shows currently airing today. But will SNL recreate the magic that happened all these after from the very early days? Well, we'll see. Because as of today, SNL is still going on. And it's only a matter of time if there's moments where SNL pisses people off again. But SNL has made people mad for certain things, but it's just a matter of time before SNL has this run ended. But anyways, that will be it for my movie review for Saturday Night. A biopic about Saturday Night Live. And like I said, there's going to be a British spin-off. But the question is, who greenlit SNL getting the British treatment? So, is the UK trying to have a Saturday Night Live kind of thing? Because I'm kind of starting to convince that America is starting to inspire the UK of having their own take of SNL. But yeah, I think SNL is confirmed to have its British series in 2026. We're just only a matter of time to see how its UK round will do. Not sure, but anyways, more movie reviews are on the way. I'll see you for the next one. This was my review for Saturday night. Stay tuned for more movie reviews.